Alright, in this channel, we're going to talk about Manny Pacquiao saying he had leg cramps in the Yordenis Ugas fight. And a lot of people are saying, well, he's using it as an excuse. I think it's not an excuse. I believe him. But if I was Manny, I would not let them know that I had leg cramps, because that's something that happened in training. All right, something's going on with training that he got these leg cramps, and we'll explain that in the future. And the proof that I know it's in training and not because the other reason, because he's getting older. Okay, it's a little bit about being older. It affects you, but if you're doing the same training that you've been doing, and you're doing this stressful training, you could be doing more harm than good, basically. And we're going to talk about his training, his resting, and his recovery, and what he could do in the future to make these changes, basically. Am I ashamed that Manny lost? No, I'm not ashamed that he lost, but there was certain situations that he could have done in training that would prevent this situation, but everything happened for a reason, and we don't know if he's coming back. It sounds like he's coming back, but we don't know. And if he does come back, that's all I'm worried about, is his training, his resting, and his recovery. So in this video, we're going to talk about stress oxidation and what I feel caused this situation. And you could be doing more harm than good to him. Yeah, you're doing more harm than good to him. And Manny also needs to know how to settle down and don't overtrain himself. So I'm not going to just blame his camp for the leg cramps. I could also blame him, because sometimes he just don't know how to stop. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes he need how to stop. Different ages, different training methods works, because you have experience. So experience is half the battle. You have that, right? So let's talk about this. Let's get into it, right?
Yeah, my biggest problem right now is that I got a strength coach that's taking him to the mountains and running the hills every day. And I says, hey, well, asshole, what are you doing? He says, I said, come on. I said, like on sparring days, let him sleep in. I said, on non-sparring days, okay, take him to the hill. But on sparring days, he just chill, rest. The sparring's more important to me than running that hill. I know he can run the hill, shit.
And what we saw is Manny Pacquiao has around 45 days of non-stop workout and 2 days of rest, especially running every day for long miles in the mountains, besides his routine workout after.
When you mentioned your legs cramping, do you think that was an age thing, or were there other factors you think that contributed to that?
I don't know, because I think too much hard work, training. I run in the mountain, and then also doing 32 rounds every day. So I don't know.
If we search for why cramps occur, the first reason for it will be the overuse of a muscle. Pac-Man was working like a machine at a very high intense pace, and had one day rest ahead of his big fight. So the muscle went from the initial recovery stage to high pace in the first round of the fight, which caused the cramps.
When it comes to oxidative stress, lifelong amateur endurance training seems to improve the oxidative stress response and actually strengthens the mechanisms in your body that could basically help you preserve muscle as you age. So what that means is that if you actually read through this study, what it says is that as we exercise, if you exercise in moderate amounts, like an amateur runner who is running for fitness and maybe training for reasonable races, but not doing 100 miles a week every single week for years on end, that actually does train your body to deal with the oxidative stress that does happen as a normal consequence of living. So we always want to think of things as good and bad, of oxidative stress as being bad, of free radicals being these little terrorists running around of killing your cells, but it's not that cut and dry. Oxidative stress is also necessary. The free radicals that actually happen as a consequence of producing energy in your cells, of eating food, of all these different things, well, those free radicals are actually part of the signaling mechanisms to actually institute healing, tissue growth, a response to exercise, all those things. You kind of have to have it, just like inflammation isn't always just good or bad. It can be both. I mean, the inflammatory phase is the first phase of wound healing, and you have to have it to heal after you run and train hard. You can't just do away with inflammation entirely, or you would never actually get stronger. You would never heal from your workouts. The same is true of oxidative stress. Turns out that basically the short answer to this question is that oxidative stress, if you run short runs, reasonable runs, you run in workouts that are not overly stressful, then you basically decrease the amount of overall oxidative stress as a consequence of that athletic activity. If you're doing massive workouts, big blocks of training, you're probably going to accumulate oxidative stress as a consequence of that. So the main reason I brought this up in this particular talk was trying to encourage physicians that runners who are injured actually need to run. They need to exercise in some way. Even if they don't believe that running is possible for you, then they have to figure out some sort of suitable substitute, because we as athletes, as runners, need to continue to exercise even while we're injured to try to reduce the amount of oxidative stress and actually heal faster and get back to running.
So in these videos, I'm showing you clips about what I think in detail happened to Manny Pacquiao. Well, in the future, is two things I want Manny Pacquiao to take consideration, because I know he's a go-getter and he can't sit still and he wants to overtrain. That's one. Then when it comes to his camp, they need to understand some things. We in 2021, we have to break down the science of rest and recovery. Okay? All those days, 2 days rest, then go back and then another 2 days rest. And the most important thing that was going wrong in this fight was he was going for his 2 days rest. He was on his way to his 1 day of recovery, tricking the body, thinking that this is going to recover, right? And then go straight into a fight. And that's what caused cramps. If he recovered, right, like a week, give his legs a break, give his legs a break, then warmed up, not 10 minutes before the fight, but warmed up the day before very lightly to get the signal to the legs that you're ready to go back to some hard training, right? That's how you warm yourself back up into the training. You warm yourself back up. So if you had rested 4 or 5 days with your legs, not saying that you don't have to do any exercise, you could have done some light exercise, a stationary bike, something to know that your body's moving, right? Because like in the video says, you do need free radicals, right? It helps send signals for recovery and stuff like that. So you do need some free radicals. I'll get to the science to that in a minute. But, you know, you take a day off, and then the next day, your body's still thinking that you're going to go into the recovery mode. And it doesn't happen that way. You go right back into the fight. So all this time you was taking 2 days off, right? And then you take 1 day, and then you go back in to the fight. You shocking the body in different ways that don't even make sense to the body, right? And this is what causes cramps, right? Especially adrenaline rush when you're in a boxing match. This is the main event. Your body going to react differently when it comes to adrenaline rush. You know you're getting into a main event. It's different with having that adrenaline rush and just training and having 2 days off. Now you training, you have not 2 days off, you have 1 day off, and you have the adrenaline rush. That's two. Oh my, listen, there's a lot of things going on here, but it's just two things I need y'all to do for Manny Pacquiao in the future for his training camp, right? Work smarter, not harder. Let me say it again. Work smarter, not harder, right? And two, you're fucking aging Manny Pacquiao faster than anything. You're fucking aging him, okay? Do you understand this? You aging him, you're accelerating his age. You're accelerating his age more than you're doing more harm than good. Let me be calm. You're doing more harm than good. Okay, so what is stress oxidation? All right, well, there's a balance. You have free radicals and you have antioxidants, right? Now, when we think about free radicals and antioxidants, there's two things that we think about. Exogenous, things that we get antioxidants from, right? Food, vitamins, right? All kinds of shit, right? That's from the outside, right? Same thing with free radicals. What do free radicals do? From the outside, bad air, radiation, bad foods, sugar, smoking, okay? Radiation from the phones and the satellites and shit like that, signals and shit like that. All that is free radicals that's entering your body, whether you're doing it to yourself with bad food and cigarettes, or you're not doing it indirectly. It's still hitting you, right? And your body reacts to this, and it becomes a cause and effect. And depending if you can handle it, you can handle it, and you could filter it right away, depending on your cells, all right? Because all these things affect your cells, all right? So is free radicals bad? No, just like inflammation is not bad, okay? It's a time when you need it, and it's time, what I'm trying to say is this, listen. Free radicals, we think about it on the outside. Antioxidants, we think about it on the outside, and we put it in our body. Right? So I don't see Manny Pacquiao saying, yeah, I take my vitamins, I sleep well, I exercise, I do a little bit of basketball here and there. All that in consideration, right? But your body also makes free radicals naturally. And those free radicals is positive to the body because it sends signals to heal, to send signals to make antioxidants, because also in your body also makes antioxidants. It's not that you just get it from the outside, eating greens and eating healthy and all that stuff. Your body naturally does this. That's why I say people that takes a lot of vitamins, you kind of not stop the signal to the brain or to the body to make its own antioxidants. So sometimes I ease back on vitamins, right? I don't just do it religiously every day. Okay? So what happens when it comes down to stress oxidation? Well, Manny Pacquiao could be doing everything correct, but he think that exercising excessively will do him more better. But no, it does not, bro. It does not. It makes things worse. Moderate exercising. So what I'm saying is this: when you're doing your training, you're doing 30. This is what Roach said. I don't know. He says he's doing 39 rounds of sparring. Then you go into running up the hill. That's too much, bro. And if you've been doing this kind of routine, not sure, because we all noticed that Manny Pacquiao also had cramps. This is nothing new about Manny Pacquiao. But now it is something new with Manny Pacquiao, because guess what? In each age difference, you have to train smarter, not harder. When you was younger, just like me, when I was younger, you know what I did? I could do all kinds of stuff when I was in my 20s. I could smoke. I could take drugs. I could party till 6 in the morning. I could have all the sex I want, right? Get up and do it again. Like nothing happened. I'm Wolverine. My cells in my body replenish and get ready to go right away. As you get aging, and I'm not just saying 40s, as you get to your 30s, there's a different way of training. When you get to your 40s, there's a different way of training. I'm not saying just because you have a different age, you're old and you can't recover, right? But you need more recovery time. You need more resting time. Okay, so is Manny Pacquiao old? Yes, he's at a certain age, but that doesn't say that he can't perform at maximum, and the maximum benefit using his tools. That's what I'm trying to tell you, right? So the way I see it, you aging the man faster. Manny Pacquiao, you aging yourself faster. That's my bottom line here. Don't age it faster by thinking that you're working harder, right? But not smarter. So you have to work smarter, okay? So when I say, you hear somebody say 39 rounds of sparring and then you're going to run up the hill. No, that doesn't make any sense. And then when they say He went from 0 to 100. 1 minute the body thinking it's resting, right? And then the next day, it's getting into a fight. That don't make any sense. Where the days that you took off, maybe 2 days, those 2 days was a rest. So guess what? You listen, I'm not the smartest man in a toolbox. But your training camp, I don't know who's telling you to run up the hill. Listen, everything in moderation as you get older. And you could recover and you could do way better. I know this. I'm 48 years old. I know that recovery, the only thing, let me tell you something. The only thing with youth is recovery. You get to recover fast and do things, right? You can party all the time. You can do all that shit, right? And the next day, you ready. Menage a trois, smoking, drinking, snorting, whatever. You could do anything you want. Just kill the body and your cells will just automatically say, we ready to do it again, right? So stress oxidation, it comes from the outside, and it also, your free radicals is from the outside and then the inside. Your antioxidants is from the outside and it's in the inside. Okay, so everything plays a part in life, but you have to have moderation. Okay, because right now, Manny, you're aging yourself even faster, running up hills, getting, and this is what. Let me show you. Let me let you read this from Manny. Okay. All right. Manny Pacquiao said right here that the only differentiation that was different was allowing a high-trained physical therapist to massage his legs just before the fight with a vibration gun. Okay, right there, I think that's an issue too. Prolonged or high-intensity exercise could result in 1, oxidative damage in skeletal muscle fibers, 2, accelerated muscle fatigue, exercise-induced increase in the production of reactive oxygen species in skeletal muscle plays a required role in skeletal muscle adaptation to endurance training. Let me say it again. Accelerated muscle fatigue, exercise-induced increase the production of reactive oxygen species in skeletal muscle that plays a required role in skeletal muscle adaptation to endurance training. Adaptation. All right. So right here it says, does oxygen make you age faster? Oxidative stress causes cells and entire organism to age. If reactive oxygen species accumulate, this causes damage to the DNA as well as the changes in the protein molecules and lipids in the cell. The cell ultimately loses its function and dies. Over time, the tissue suffers and the body ages. All right, what are the symptoms of oxidative stress? Here are the 5 signs to look out for: fatigue, memory loss and or brain fog, muscle or joint pain. Remember that, muscle cramps. That's a part of pain, right? Wrinkle and gray hair, decreased eyesight, headaches and sensitivity to noise, susceptible to infections. All right. So Manny Pacquiao said that the day before the fight, he had a physical therapist use a machine gun on his calves. I'm asking you, let me ask you something. Remember I told you went from 0 to 100. You trained the body to train 45 days, then 2 days rest, 45 days, 2 days rest, or whatever that thing they saying, right? Regardless if it's 45 days, a week, or 2 weeks, right? You gave the body 2 days. You're giving it a pattern. To the body, just like drugs. Once your body gets dependent on drugs, you gave it a pattern. That means it wants the drugs, okay? Same thing with physical activity. So you're trying to tell me you're doing a machine gun to massage the legs, the calves. Well, that tells me that, read between the lines, that something was going on. You was probably getting leg cramps in the first place, because for you to do something like that before the fight, well, you're tricking the body. First of all, you're only getting 2 days. Then the day of the fight, instead of giving yourself 2 days rest, you give yourself 1 day rest. Then you use a massage therapist physically to do this machine gun to loosen up the calves, right? So you're now telling the calves that, wow, okay, this is 1 day. This is 1 day recovery. Then you add in on something that you never use, was the massage machine gun, right? So now the calves are really saying, wow, we're gonna really relax. I mean, we're going to really relax, right? And day 2, we're going to relax some more. But no, Manny Pacquiao does that the day before, or I think the day before the fight. I don't know. I got to read it again, right? But let's just say it's the day before. And then the calves are thinking, wow, you really put me in a relaxing mode. You really put me in a relaxing mode. And now, the next day, the adrenaline rush, and then going into the fight. Plus, you know, I got to take in consideration making weight, water and salt ratio, water and salt ratio. So you got to take that in consideration. That too, right? And making weight and adding more water and adding more salt, and it's not in the right ratio or whatever. All these things that comes in consideration. So you're telling me you put this machine massage therapist to work the day before the fight, right? Telling the calves, we're going to relax. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to relax. But then you game rewind, you go straight into a fight with an adrenaline rush, right? And now I see why the first and the second round, I could see something was different with him. He wasn't doing what he did with Keith Thurman. I mean, he was hopping all over the place. He was setting traps. He wasn't standing in front of Keith Thurman. And he did something spectacular that none of these young bucks are doing. Dropping somebody in the first round. What did these people in the welterweight division do? They're not dropping nobody in the first round, right? So when I say, if people say, oh man, he's old. Listen. As you can see with ROS, right? Receptive oxygen species, it could age you, okay? So, yeah, I look at Manny and I say, wow, he recovered fast. His face recovered. He's paying chess. I see him putting the gloves with Sean Givens there. His face recovered quickly. Remember, he had an eye, in his eye, he had a red bloodshot right here from fighting. And he recovered very well. He's built for this, man. He built for war. But the problem is he wasn't ready for war. And that's the issue I have. In the future, just because you're a certain age does not mean you're not capable of putting in the work. Because let me tell you something right now. I'm 48 years old. I see a lot of 48 years out here that I could run races around them, yo. Okay, I see a lot of 48 out here that that's nowhere compared to athletes that's in the gym, that's older. Then I'm 48 and I see somebody on video 60 or 70 doing muscle ups. Okay, so just because one person is doing it and you're not doing, that has not the right for you to tell somebody to retire, bro. It does not have nothing to, listen, there's two things out here. There's chronological age and biological age, right? And it's also the gene that you have that plays a part in your life. That gene is the young gene. Like I said in my past videos, when I was in high schools, I had dudes that was the same age as me. I was skinny. I looked my age. I was skinny. Maybe I looked younger. I was skinny. I wasn't developed in muscles. These dudes look like they're supposed to be adult or in college. All right? So you got your chronicle, where everybody say that's your age, that's who you're supposed to be. And then you have your biological age and your gene, all right? And what do you what benefits of this in the long run? All right? So Manny could have been doing everything right. He could have been eating right, taking his vitamins, taking his antioxidants. He could have done all that, right? And you could tell he did all that properly, because you could tell by the recovery of his face, him playing chess, the neurons in his brain reacting to certain things. So yes, he's been in a war, but he recovered. So the recovery part is not the problem with Manny, because he know how to recover. But he's not giving his body, his training camp not giving him the time and day to learn how to recover. Give the man a week to recover. Get on a stationary break. Give your calves minimal hard training, very minimal. When you're not working hard, don't work hard. Don't play basketball, just move. But don't put too much move, because you want the body to tear and build. That's all you want. You want the body to tear and build. You tear the muscle, you rip the muscle, then you give it more time to recover, and then when they recover, When you get in the gym or you doing an activity, you can feel the recovery because you have more bounce to your step. All right. Same thing with your endurance. Your endurance, same thing. That's what ROS, free radicals, do. It slows down your endurance. So remember, you got this auxiliary rush. You got this adrenaline rush, right? Your body, your brain, everything's moving faster than even your breaths. So now you get in there, you're tired too. You're also tired. So all that training, you become tired. Not just the cramps, because if you had cramps, you still probably could have done a blitz here, a rush in here, which he was doing, right? And it was a close fight. But if your endurance in the fight, everything comes into play, especially having an auxiliary, that rush of the auxiliary rush, that you know that when you're about to get a ring, your whole body reacts differently. And you know, when it comes to exercise, right, I notice a lot of people, right? Oh shit, broke this. That's why I never buy glasses, because I always break them and shit, right? My glasses, my watches, you know, I had a nice Samsung watch. I had it for 3 or 4 years. That shit conked out on me. I had the Beats. The Beats started to act. One ear works, the other one don't. I said, the hell with it. I'm not buying anything expensive no more when it comes to glasses, earbuds, and watches. I'm done, okay? That's just one of my freaking glasses I like. Oh, hell with you. But, you know, when it comes to exercise, right, it's funny. A lot of people, they go back and forth with this thing about recovery and resting and nucleus overload, and which one is beneficial. I think every exercise and rest and recovery and nucleus overload, everything plays a part at certain times, right? So who's this? Just leave. I'm doing a video. Can you just stop sending me shit, right? So, you know, nucleus overload is something like how can I say, you keep working the muscle every day. Like you're doing push-ups every day. You're doing muscle-ups every day. You're doing pull-ups. You're doing something every day, over and over and over again. I'll give you an example of this. Country boys. They're different from city boys. All over the world, in your country or in your island. Well, the reason why, because when you're on your island and you're a country person, you got chores. You got to go up the hill, down the hill. You're working your calves. You're picking up stuff. You're picking up stuff. You're working your shoulders, your chest. You're axing. You're chopping wood. You're doing all these things on a daily basis, right? So that's like nucleus overload, right? And you say, well, you know, the muscles don't need rest. Okay, well, it depends on the age, the younger, the moderate, and older. It depends on a lot of things. So I do believe in nucleus overload, where you could overload the muscle, right, to build muscle. That's not a problem. We see it in prisons, and we see it people working in the country. And you ever heard that saying, he's country strong? He's buck country strong because he do this. Like I was watching a documentary with Sonny Liston, and actually Sonny Liston, when he was a kid, he had to pick cotton, right? Or he had to whip the mule to push it. Well, guess what? His father was whipping his ass while he was picking cotton and saying, faster, get it done, right? So Sonny Liston used to do a lot of chores. And look what made of him as he got as an adult. He was strong. He was country strong until he decided to leave his father and country and come to the city, right? So I believe, because I know somebody's watching this video and say, what about nucleus overload? What about nucleus overload? Yes, I believe in it. Believe me, I believe it. You could do push-ups, everything, pull-ups, and you could develop, right? But when it comes to the sport you're in, what sport are you? Are you there being a bodybuilder, building muscle, right? Because bodybuilders and powerlifters are two different things, right? Or are you boxing and you're trying to rest and recover and get certain fast twitch muscles if you built like that, or certain movements that you need to move, because too much muscle, because like I said, too muscle is more dense than fat. Yes, it's more cosmetically prettier than fat, but it's more dense than fat. That's why when I work out, sometimes I don't want to work out a certain muscle. Like let's say my bicep. I like to put my arm behind my back, but if my bicep is more bigger than what it is, I don't feel comfortable, right? Certain muscle, I don't like working over too much because I can't get the flexibility. I can't get the rotation. Certain things I can't do. Like I could put my hand behind my back and scratch it, but if I overdo it with my muscles on my shoulders or anywhere else, I feel robotic. So then I say, okay, you know what? Yeah, it looks cosmetically nice to the eye, but I don't feel comfortable. Okay, I have to go from the ratio to my height, and know that, yeah, I could look muscular, but can I move around with this muscle? Right? That's the whole idea. Just having muscle and you can't move around, it's a waste of time to me. And, you know, if you're hanging off a cliff and you can't pull yourself up, you can't do a muscle up or a pull up, well, what's the sense of having muscle? If you could run and you only could run up the block or up the stairs and you tired, then what's the sense of having that muscle? Because it's much denser than fat. So anyway, I'm moving on. You know, I should have a station on, you know, a channel on doing gym and stuff, but I got no time. But that's all I'm saying about Manny Pacquiao. Okay, work smarter, not harder. You know how Freud, you gotta work smarter, not harder, right? All this foolish shit, right? So that's what I'm saying. And don't age Manny Pacquiao. Don't age him out with all this oxidating stress oxidation, and you killing this. You're doing more harm than beneficial. All right. So yes, working hard. You see. This is it. If you say you did 39 rounds, right? And then you went up the hill and you did everything possible to get prepared for this fight with Spence, but you fought Ugas. Well, maybe training too hard ain't working. Okay? Listen, I'm here for you to... Oh, God, here we go. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here for you to read between the lines. And another thing, thanks to somebody comment to me. He said, yo, you gotta say... like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Okay? Until then, we're gonna make another video, and I think the next video, I don't know what the I know what the next video is about. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna check you with it. I'm gonna check you with that one. Alright, so hopefully if I'm wrong or I'm right, no, exactly, like I said, this is not to make excuses for Manny. I'm just researching the excuse that he uses about his muscle cramps. That's it. That's all. And I could come to the conclusion that, yes, that's it, because the proof is that the first round, Father Time ain't going to take you in the first round. Father Time ain't going to take you in the second round. Come on, man. Have common sense. Something was wrong. But as a Pacquiao, I'm not making an excuse, because it was his camp. It was his training camp. You have to have the science behind the freaking training. That's what I'm saying. And if y'all can't get that shit right, then, hey, y'all going to be stubborn and, hello, you're going to be stubborn and do it again? Well, we shall see. All right. Yeah, have a good one. Bye.
You show proof all the time. You should just show the proof right now where he said, I show proof all the time. Nigga, what do you show? I show on my video. You don't show shit.